Oh, Christmas has come early, everybody. What's in the box? Well, hopefully it's not one of my wife's Amazon orders. But I think what's in this box is my future favorite top rope soloing climbing device that I've been waiting to review. Full disclosure, before I open this box, I contacted this company. I said, hey, send me that device. I'm really interested in using it. And they didn't pay me to give them a good review. They just sent over their device. They're like, sure, we'll send it to you. So they sent it over. Been waiting for weeks. It's traveled all the way from France. And it's finally here. Super excited to open it up. So the way this video is going to go is I'm going to do a classic YouTube unboxing. Open this baby up. Then we're going to take a look at the device. I'll show you all its features, how it works. We'll set it up on the rope. I'll show you how I plan on using it. And then we'll take it to the cliff. We'll do some real world testing, and then I got a special surprise for all you guys that have been supporting this channel. So super exciting episode. Let's get this on the table. Let's get right into it. All right, let's open her up, shall we? Yeah. Okay, what's in here? Oh, nice, a shirt. Boost your 3D agility. So this company is called TAZ, and what they made is the TAZ Lov2. Oh, nice shirt. Oh, it feels good quality. Extra large. I must look bigger on camera. Her camera adds weight. Oh, and a nice little scarf. Nice. Thanks, guys. So, the TAZ Lov2. Let's open it up. Really cool device, and we're definitely going to get into this one. A second. Open her up. Alrighty. So, before we open it up, let's get into some of what these mumbly jumbly words are right here. TAZ Lov2, that's the name of the device. We have a little dummy proof marking right here. We know which way is up. I've seen people put Grigris on the wrong way. And what does it say here? Well, let me zoom in and focus this a little bit. So we have two rope thicknesses here. We have a 9.5 up to 11 millimeter. The EN means European norm. That's their standard over there. That's what they use for their standards. And then we have, it's also an A/C type device. The A means that it's good to catch a fall. So if you're in the rope access work type like I am, then you want two devices in two different lines. See, this guy's using a backup line. He's also using his main line, or vice versa. This looks like it's his backup line. So if this line was to fail, he'd be taking a fall onto this, which would be, greater load. So this device is rated to take a fall, which is really good for what we want, because we want to be able to take something of a fall if we're top rope soloing, because, well, we tend to fall, don't we? So that's pretty cool. And then this C, the type C, means it's also good for rappelling. So it's got two standards on here. It's exactly what we want. This is also, I think, made with the tree guy in mind. If he's working on, those guys, they work on one line, and I think they usually use some kind of backup device as well, not just this, if they're working on one line. But this is good for that, working on one line or two lines, and is rated to catch a fall. Let me grab a rope real quick. Let's look at the insides of this thing. All right, so the way this thing gets onto a rope is we have her up over here, and then let's open her up. We have a little climber guy over here, so we know that our anchor is going to be up at the top over here. We got a hand down here, and we got our harness connect. Pretty dummy proof stuff, really nice. So let's open it up. Now what we have looks like a little bit of a cleat, and now I'm going to assume what this is for is we're just grabbing onto the rope, so that if you went to go put this on the rope, it wouldn't just go sliding down to wherever the end of the rope is, but it would kind of stay. And that adds a little bit of friction, which we're not really a fan of. Well, I'm not, because we want this to be able to slide up the rope as frictionless as possible without causing any, drag. But I mean, it doesn't feel like it causes too much drag, and I'm sure after a lot of use, this thing will probably wear down, and maybe you'd end up having to they'd want to maybe sell you another piece of this or something if it wore down enough. I would be tempted to even remove it and then see what happens, and I might test that out. But yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Don't remove parts out of this device. I'll probably do that and see what happens, but you shouldn't do that. But this might get worn down. I digress. I was rambling. So I have a little hole up here. That way you can attach something there be able to put this on and off the rope without worrying about dropping it. You can put a little lanyard on there. And what's really cool about this device, and what really makes it shine, is let's say this line here was loaded. So we had a load on this line. And let me grab a gree-gree. Okay, here we'll compare it to a gree-gree. So what the maker of this device, I think what he really had in mind, was getting on to loaded lines. So if this line was really heavily loaded, and we tried to throw like, let's say, a gree-gree on it, you can see how much the rope needs to bend to get onto this piece, and then pulled way over this way for this thing to actually close, and then get around this flange here to close. So you can see how much this is creating a bite, almost like a bite in the rope. So with his device, with the TAZ, we're able to hop right into even a tension line because it's just pretty much straight. So we get this right in here just like this, and the rope can remain perfectly straight and then close on just like that. So I think that's what the thinking was behind this, and that's pretty neat. So I think that's all we have to say about it. Of course, it has this, it also cams like a gree-gree. The gree-gree, we don't really have to rely on the whole device turning around like this one. This one really kind of heavily relies on being able to come this way. And in a second, we're going to set it up on the rope. We'll hop on it, and we'll do some do's and don'ts on this device. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But this also has this piece here, which is kind of hidden behind here, that also does cam down as well, pinching the rope. So as this comes down like this, the rope is pulling this piece of metal that's hidden behind here. Looks kind of like this one. And then that's also pinching the rope down here. And when it's time to rappel down, we can grab this bar and straighten this back up and then start our descent or whatnot. Pretty neat device. Okay, so let's throw it on the rope up here. I'll hop on it, get my harness on, and we'll do some do's and don'ts and talk some more about it. Let's do that. Okay, before I get into this, I have to remind you that this is just an experiment. It's not like TAZ told me this is the way to do it. This is just me coming up with it with over all my experience of top rope soloing. So this is just what I've come up with. Now, Petzl says you should use 2 devices. If you're going to use, even if you're going to use a single rope, you should use 2 devices, or if you're on a double rope. The reason I use a single rope is I often climb 2 hours to a cliff that's 300 foot. I'm not going to bring 600 foot of rope. So I need to come up with a way to use a single line. This is a 10 millimeter static line. I got videos of why I use static lines and all that jazz. So let's not get too much into that for length of time. So what I've come up with is we grab our TAZ, and I have this beaner that has a little gate right here that prevents the beaner from cross loading. So I appreciate that. Throw this on here. A little cleat sticks on there and holds it from sliding anywhere. Though you probably should just keep a hand on it. And then we clip this in here. Now, you're still gonna want a backup device, and I'm still in love with my first love, the tracks. I haven't experimented with Pro 6 or anything like that, so I'm just still using the tracks. Nothing glides up as effortlessly and as nice and cleanly as, almost frictionlessly as the tracks. So that's my backup device. And oh right, the screamer. Why the screamer? I don't use the screamer as a shock absorber. The reason I like it is because this plastic part here, it tends to keep these 2 devices separated. So if I use just a sling here, this thing could end up just coming up into there, but this tends to keep it spaced. I think you get the idea there. So let's clip that into here, and let's bring this down over to here. Let's clip this into my harness. Need a little lower. Get a little lower, please. Thank you. A little bit lower. Okay. Now, there's some rope drag because of that cleat. There's a little bit of rope drag. It's grippy. So we're gonna need some rope weight. Now you can either do that 2 ways. You can have some extra rope at the bottom, which is gonna weigh something, or if you hike in with a backpack, you can hook to a backpack. And there's nothing in here, just the backpack. It probably weighs, I don't know, like less than 10 pounds. So we're gonna clip this to here. And we're just gonna do a quick clove hitch. Bada boom, bada bing. Tighten that up a bit, clean it up a bit. Okay, so I think that's about all we need right there. And then we can just slide right up a rope. We take a fall. Okay. So there you go. Now, this thing, what's really neat about this whole setup is I already got my belay device on here. Now, the way I used to do it, if I use just a tracks with something else, working something else with the tracks, is I'd have to get into a belay device, a rappel device to rappel back down. If I'm doing a section, a project, which is usually why I'm using this technique, then I'm climbing up and down, up and down, and up and down, which means I gotta throw it. The way I would do is I'd throw a gree in here, I'd get it up to here and try to get it as weighted as I could. Then I'd have to pull myself up and unclip from this, get into the gree, rappel down, and then get back into the tracks. Now we could just unclip from here, keep our hand on the brake line, of course, in case something crazy happened. And then we could just rappel down to where that section is, throw the tracks back on, and then bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. So that's that. Now, super important that this thing is able to turn, okay? That's the way this thing works. It needs to be able to cam like that. You could wear a chest harness here to keep this up here, because if this got between your legs and you decide to grip it, panic grip it, you're going for a ride, okay? So yeah, you want it to be able to stay up here, or if you're climbing, you can try to keep it off to one side. If something gets tangled around this thing, prevents it from being able to turn over like this, well, you got a problem, which is why we want to use some sort of backup device. And I like using the tracks. Haven't tested anything else. I think that's what works the best. So there you go. For kicks and giggles, let's take off this cleat and see what happens. Okay, we got the cleat removed, and right away you can see that it's now kind of possible to put the rope in wrong. Let's say you're in the dark somewhere, pitch black. You can kind of put it on wrong. So yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. So immediately that's apparent. Another thing is now it could just fall straight down. Before, if you can kind of take your hands off and get away without it going anywhere, but now it's just going to go sliding to your end knot. Let's see what happens if it's gone now. Let's see what happens. Now it's pretty frictionless, but that's obviously not a good thing because we're going for a ride. Ha! Okay, yeah, no good. So that cleat is actually super important. We're gonna want that cleat. And since that cleat is made out of plastic, if that cleat is worn down, breaks, whatever, we could have a problem on our hands. So I would always use, it's not a deal breaker with this device, but always use it in conjunction. I would always use it in conjunction with some kind of backup device, because when that cleat is gone or fails, this thing could potentially fail. So there you go. You just got a master's degree in the TAZ Lov2 device. Let's go take this to the cliff and then see what happens. Let's do some real world testing with it now. Get that cleat back in here. Okay, so we're here at the Gunks. This is called the mental block. A couple cool climbs on here. I think this is probably the hardest route that's on it. And this is a route I actually would have avoided using just the tracks on and top rope soloing on, because you can see where the rope is. It's way off to, you know, you could see that the climb is overhanging, and I try to avoid overhanging climbs with the tracks because you have a potential for it to kind of swing out and maybe have some kind of a jerking type load on the rope, and that's not something you want to do with the tracks because it's a tooth device. And but it's still my favorite device. So what I used to do is just kind of avoid climbs like that and maybe top rope them or something. But with this device, I feel much safer because it's not toothed. It's a lot bigger piece of metal, and it's rated for falls like that. So of course, yeah, making sure the harness works, making sure the device works first, taking a fall on it, make sure the gear at the top is good. I got somebody coming down here that wants to watch me try to crush it, but unfortunately, I forgot the bait on this climb. It's been a while. I've climbed it, I don't know how many times already, but kind of forgot the beta at the top, which is good because we got to take a fall to test out this device. So that's my excuses. My excuse is I'm falling. I forgot the beta and I'm falling because I want to test the device out, but we're not going to tell anybody that. So I got my backpack at the bottom, and that's just going to help the device ride up, you know, because it's pretty short rope. And if you want me to do videos where I talk about climbing techniques and stuff, for stuff that's rated a little bit harder, like stuff like this. This is rated probably 5'11 plus, but that's kind of a tall guy's rating. I have to do a lot more moves to get up to the top. So I've heard someone told me I make it look like I'm doing 5'13, but I don't know. That's my excuse. Okay, so we're working up in here. This part, the holds are really crappy, and you're doing a layback, and it kind of wants to spit you out the whole time. But if you work your way up to here, you could kind of get to the left, and there's like a little bit of a rest over here. If you get up to here right, you get the right hand movement, the right foot movements, you can get up there pretty easily. Here is kind of the crux for me. I gotta get back to the right, and it's, I mean, if I did a whole full video on it, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But you got to get back to the right, get back into the layback, and I have some weird moves to get into there, but I totally forgot them. So we're gonna do that now. I get my left thumb on this like little slope thing, and then I curve my hand right to I get my body weight all on my thumb, and then I curve my hand over to the right to get more digits on it. And then once I can get that, and I kind of shift my body weight over, I totally forgot where my feet go. I never used to heel hook with my left foot. I don't know why I'm doing this. I've committed, and I realized I made a huge mistake, and I know I'm gonna take a fall, but there you go, and I take a fall. So that's what the fall looks like right there. A little bit more of a jerking motion than I would like on the tracks. On the tracks, if I'm doing something that's completely vertical, then I would bump it up so that I'd be basically sitting onto the tracks. I wouldn't be taking any kind of fall. So I'm now working the moves out here, trying to remember how the heck I used to get over to there. And what's really nice is instead of hang doggling like this, which is bad style, I could rappel right back down, but I don't feel like wasting my time. I want to figure out how the heck I used to do this climb. But yeah, by the end of the day, I remembered and I figured it out, and I chalked my tick marks back up. Now I kind of get my left hand over my right, and I do this like I'm pulling with my left, I'm pulling with my right, and I'm leaning on my right foot, and it wants to barn door you off and just spit you out, but I kind of force my left leg and I force my body to not get barn doored by doing that. And I get my left foot there, and then basically then I get back into doing this layback, but like I said, I forgot how it works, and I take another fall right about there. Okay, so there's the again, I'm falling again on it, and then it felt completely good and solid, you know, so I kind of really like that about the device. That's about it. I think that's a good representation of what a fall looks like on this device out in the field. And now I can rappel back down and just, you know, play all day on the thing. So I really do like using it, and I'm definitely going to be using it probably on everything I use now, because I could just rappel right back down like I am right here, rappelling down, getting back to the rest. I don't have to worry about getting a gree back on or whatever, and that just makes my life a whole lot easier. So really cool device, really like using it. If you have any questions, let me know. So let's just go right to the outro here. Okay guys, thanks for hanging out at YouTube's favorite underground climbing channel. Thank you, Taz, for sending this device out for me to review. Pretty cool device. I think the only downside is its price point, which I'm trying to fix. Here's the surprise, guys. I bought you guys one, and I'm going to give it out to one of my supporters, and the only way of me doing that to give it to an actual supporter. I don't want to give it to that guy that one guy that dislikes all my videos. So if one of you guys bought a shirt, even if you already bought one, or you buy one maybe in the next 2 weeks, I'll have your information, I'll contact you, and I'll send you out one of these. This is a it cost me $340 when I bought it. It came with some extra beaners and stuff. But a pretty expensive device, and that's probably one of the biggest cons about it. It's pretty pricey. But I'm trying to fix that by getting one of these to you guys. All you gotta do is buy a t-shirt. Pretty cool. And for you guys that don't get it, don't win, hey, at least you got you got some swag. So I think it's a pretty cool deal. Thank you guys for stopping by. So hit that subscribe if you like this stuff. Leave a like, leave me a comment, let me know, let me get some feedback. I love feedback down in the comment section. And I'll see you guys next week. I make a video every week. So see you guys next week. Joshua Perry, climbing out of here.